Lion's mane is an incredibly powerful fungus to increase your energy and cognition. Today, I'm going to share with you 6 ways it can increase your energy so you can get your life back where it was before.
You're watching the Dr. Jake podcast.
I'm Dr. Jake. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor and integrative physician in Salt Lake City, Utah. On this channel, I'll share with you how you can heal your body naturally and get your energy back without any harmful drugs or surgery. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. I recently filmed a podcast with my co-host, Teresa Marie, in which we talked about lion's mane and how great it is for increasing your energy and cognition. Make sure you stick around till the end because we're going to be able to talk about how you actually use it and the appropriate dosages of it. Yeah, lion's mane is an amazing mushroom. I love it. It's one of my favorite mushrooms out there. It also is my favorite looking mushroom. It's the really cool looking mushroom. So
Does it look like a lion? I'm assuming that like it must have hair or something.
It's like a puffy mushroom, white puffy mushroom that kind of looks hairy. So I guess that's where it got its name. But it's a really cool looking mushroom.
Awesome. And we were talking about this before the episode, that some mushrooms are like places. A lot of them have been growing in Asia and so forth. But lion's mane is especially different than some of these Asian specific mushrooms.
Yeah, so lion's mane grows really all over the planet in Asia, Europe, North America. So it grows readily throughout our forests throughout the world. So it's unlike other mushrooms that we have talked about, like cordyceps and reishi, we're mostly in the Asian countries, even though we have it cultivated all over the world now. It started more there, but lion's mane's not that case.
And I imagine because of its background on how, where it's been able to grow, that if we look down at like the history of medicine in different cultures and so forth, that we've been seeing that, shamans all over the world have been using this for centuries for so many different benefits. But as science in Western medicine and so forth has finally caught up with the knowledge of the ages, we're finding that it's really beneficial for the brain, and that plays a vital role in our energy, because energy is not just physical energy, but energy also plays, we have emotional energy, we have mental energy and so forth. So I'm excited to dig into all of those and how this plays a role in that with you today. So let's just jump into it. Specifically, the cell at the cellular level, lion's mane's mushroom actually affects us energetically at the cellular level. Can you share those details with us?
So what's really cool about lion's mane is it works differently than maybe some of the other mushrooms that we have talked about with increasing energy. It actually decreases unstable molecules within the cell, which bogs down your cellular function throughout the body. So it eliminates these certain molecules that are causing a problem inside the cell and allows your mitochondria inside the cell to make its energy appropriately. We have all these kind of things that are bogging down our cellular function, all these oxidants, and lion's mane helps stabilize these molecules and helps your energy production through that way. So it's really great to combine certain mushrooms because one is doing one thing and another is doing another with our energy production. And lion's mane is one of the really cool ones that's decreasing that unstable molecules within the cell and letting your cell work the best it can.
Now, when our cells are not acting the way that they should at this level and they're acting unstable, are these due to you kind of touched a little bit on it, but are these due to like toxins in our environment, viruses that we're struggling with? Like what's actually causing these problems in our cells?
There's a lot of potential causes. Do we know everything that's causing these unstable molecules? When we look at it, we see these molecules that aren't reacting appropriately, which then is bogging down our cell. But yes, this is definitely related to the toxins that we're getting into our body. That's why we want to take good antioxidants to decrease some of these oxidative stressors that we're getting. So we get all kinds of oxidative stress throughout our body from normal living, and we get just eating a crappy diet causes a lot of oxidative stress on our body. Too much sugar, too many fatty acids, especially like if you're heating up oils that are going to cause a lot of oxidation. So we won't really dive in a ton into that today. We'll be talking forever. But there's just an unhealthy lifestyle, or just getting all this gunk inside our body is what's causing these unstable molecules.
That makes a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about sugar and so forth. Because we're recording this like right after 4th of July. And, I just major cheat day, right? Like hanging out with family, chips, cake, all of the things. And let me tell you, the next day, garbage. So, I know I can speak firsthand on the effects of eating crappy food and its effect on my energy levels. So good to know. So it actually helps us at the cellular level.
You should have had some lion's mane.
Yeah, I should have. I'm learning as we go, Dr. Jake.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing that we have on our list here is lion's mane mushrooms can actually affect our dopamine and our serotonin. And I know, dopamine and serotonin I have to think of for like general well-being. Does lion's mane affect dopamine and serotonin, and how is that going to affect our energy?
Lion's mane is going to increase our dopamine and serotonin levels. So what's important with that with energy? Dopamine is what increases focus, concentration. It's what makes our brain be able to endure long thinking moments. It also is for our general well-being. Serotonin is to make us happy and our general well-being too. So let's say we are having low amounts of dopamine and serotonin levels. We're not getting that lion's mane, which is boosting that. We're just not going to have the motivation to do things that we want throughout the day. And many times we think of that, oh, I just don't have the energy to do this, because you really don't have the motivation to do that,
Yeah.
or you just don't feel good to be able to do these activities that you really want to do, but you just don't feel quite there to do that. And that many times can be related to the imbalance of your neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Also, a big piece with serotonin is it's needed for us to be able to make melatonin, for us to be able to sleep appropriately. So if we have way too little serotonin, we're not going to feel good, we're not going to be active, which is then not going to make us tired at night. But then another thing is that we're not making the serotonin and it's not making melatonin, so we're not able to sleep at night. So it's a big piece there. So when we have low dopamine and serotonin, we really are not going to be able to be energetic and do the things that we love during the day. Even though we think of this just mood stuff, mood is a big thing related to our energy levels.
Oh, what I love about this is, this day and age, it seems like so many more people are struggling with depression and just lack of motivation. And oftentimes, I think we're taught by the commercials that we watch and so forth that the default answer is to go take pharmaceuticals, right?
Definitely.
Go take your not Xanax, but like go take an SSRI or something like that.
Yeah.
When this is not necessarily the case. I mean, there are reasons, not always a chemical, and there's something going on with your cells. It could be, something going on in other ways. And there's other ways that we can increase our dopamine and our serotonin without having
Right.
to resort to pharmaceuticals. So I really love this. And I also find it interesting what you're saying about serotonin and dopamine is that it not only affects our motivation, but then it affects our sleep, which sleep is there to restore us. And so then if we're not getting that restorative sleep, I can see how this could lead to a really vicious cycle where one is actually making the other worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next, another reason why lion's mane mushrooms can affect our energy is our cognition and memory. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, so this is my favorite part about lion's mane piece. It is the powerhouse for our brain to increase our ability to think and remember things. So many times, a lot of us, we like to study and learn, or we have to have our brain working really well to be able to do great in our work or be what we want to be. But when we study for long periods of time, or maybe just short periods of time, our brain gets tired and we're just like, hey, I need a break. You just keep on taking breaks all the time. Or we lack our focus and concentration to be able to accomplish that. We're doing one thing and then we're doing another and we never accomplish anything. And lion's mane is really awesome because it's going to decrease that brain fatigue that happens. Now you're going to get brain fatigue, definitely, but this will make it much better, and it's going to make it much more easy to remember things and keep your memory. There's actually a great deal of research actually being done for dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So not people that just need it for better function, but people that actually are having their brains deteriorate and not work as well, so they're not able to memorize things as well or remember things at all. And lion's mane is showing benefit in helping with those specific conditions. So it is an awesome mushroom to be able to help that and keep our energy going in our brain. So we talked about how it's working on the cellular level and helping on all the energy production throughout our entire bodies, but also it focuses purely just on the brain and improving our brain power and our brain function. So that's what's really awesome about lion's mane is it's going to increase your ability to be able to think for longer periods of time and actually remember what you are doing.
So I can see how, as you mentioned, this benefits people with Alzheimer's and dementia and so forth. Would this be beneficial then for someone who struggles with ADD or ADHD?
Definitely fantastic for that. There's all kinds of other things, reason why it helps with that. It's anti-inflammatory and things like that. And there's a lot of inflammation in the brain related to ADD, ADHD. So yes, it's an awesome mushroom for that.
Wonderful. I was thinking about this one when you were talking about serotonin. Imagine there's a role with serotonin in this, but I'm interested to hear what else you have to say about it. And that is our digestive health. And So I'd love to first hear, like, how does it play a role in our digestive health and a role in that serotonin again, too, that we were just talking about above?
Yeah, so serotonin definitely is related to our digestive health, and how a roundabout way with that is okay. Lion's mane is going to decrease the inflammation in your gut, which is then going to help the mucosal lining. Also, the mucosal lining is improved with lion's mane. We need our mucosal lining to be able to heal, digest, and get nutrients into our gut. If that is all messed up and we're making too little or too much of mucus, we're not going to digest our nutrients very well. Nutrients are needed for us to make our neurotransmitters, serotonin and dopamine. So that's a piece of making it. Also, our gut makes a lot of serotonin also and dopamine. So we have an imbalance in our gut. Our gut's not working very well. It's really inflamed. It's not digested as foods very well. That imbalance is then going to affect our brain too. So then it's going to affect our serotonin production. We've already talked about how that can affect your energy levels. But also another way is we need nutrients for our cells to be able to function, for our mitochondria to actually make energy production. So if our gut's not working as well, we're not going to absorb those nutrients and get the cells working. So lion's mane can improve that digestive function throughout your body and get those nutrients in more effectively. And that's going to help your cells work better and help you feel more energetic.
You know, I'm thinking about like all of the types of foods that we eat that are there for a reason, right? Food gives us energy. And not just because of carbohydrates and so forth, but because of how our body, I mean, our body is literally taking the molecules in our food, breaking it down to its base levels, and then reusing that to form other things that our body needs, like dopamine, like serotonin, and so forth. So, like, I notice a difference if my digestion is off. Like, I can notice that I might be eating food, but I'm not getting energy from it. You know, I know that protein, for example, is really, you know, amino acids and so forth that are in my protein could be, my body can use to the vitamins, the B vitamins that are in my food is so helpful for my ability to detoxify and just even my general sense of energy as well. So when my digestion is not working, I'm not able to actually use the nutrients in my food to actually benefit me. And then you can get on this cycle where you're just constantly taking supplements and so forth to solve all your problems, when really, if you just fix your digestive issues, your body can actually be able to draw out a lot of the nutrients that you need from your food as it was intended, so that you don't have to be taking, you know, $500 a month worth of supplement, or you're essentially flushing down the toilet if you're not even able to digest them. So I just love that this plays a role in so many different things, energetically, but also at our digestion, which then also affects our energy. So we were talking earlier before about the vicious cycle of serotonin and melatonin on our sleep. I can see how by not healing our gut, that also plays a vicious cycle in our energy. And so it seems like lion's mushrooms is like, it's like a miracle fungus.
Yeah.
It really works on so many different areas. All right, number 5, you have on our list here that lion's mane plays a role in our fat metabolism. And, you know, I think a lot of us often think of carbs is our energy source, but fat is definitely plays a big role in our energy. Can you please talk about that?
So yeah, fat is actually our major source of energy production. So if we think of like calories, one gram of carb is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So we're getting a ton of more energy. Calories is energy. Okay, we think calories. I'm going to get fat if I get calories. We actually need calories to be able to make energy. If you're not getting calories in your body, you're not going to be energetic. But what lion's mane does is actually improves your body's ability to use those fatty acids for energy production. We need those fatty acids to be able to get into our cell and stimulate the cellular functions to go throughout the whole cycle of how the cell works to make ATP production. We need fat to be able to do that. And there's nothing better than fat than any other protein or carb or whatever to increase our energy. That's why I really love MCT oil, because that's going to elevate our energy so well, because it's a pure fat energy source. And that's the best way we're going to get energy production. So a great combination is MCT oil, lion's mane. We're improving our fat metabolism. We're actually getting that fuel on top of it. And that's really going to greatly increase your energy production throughout your body.
You know what? I want to point out a faulty thinking that I think some people will often have is, well, I don't want to get fat, so I shouldn't have fat in my diet.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't want my body to use the fat. I want it to just get rid of it. but that's not how it works. Fat
Yeah.
metabolism, if you're not metabolizing your fat, your body's just going to store it.
Yep.
So you want to burn it. You want to be able to use the fat as energy, or else it will just get stored. So having a good combination of fat so that you have energy, and then having the ability to actually use it as energy is what's actually going to make a big difference in how your body stores fat and how much of it plays that role. And then, of course, obviously, the big energy boost that we get from it as well. All right, we have one last one here that I think is so important, because we're seeing more and more issues with this this day and age, and we're seeing it even in kids today. It's heartbreaking, and that is the role of blood sugar in our energy, and how lion's mane can actually help us with stabilizing this. Can you talk about that?
So lion's mane actually helps us decrease our blood sugar levels. Majority of us are not having low blood sugar issues. Now, there are people having this issue. Most of us are having way too much blood sugar, way too much sugar in our bloodstream. And lion's mane works on our gut, and it decreases how much sugar you actually absorb throughout your gut. That's what it's showing in the literature, is it has a function of actually leaving the sugar actually in your gut. So you just poop it out, so you don't get as much inside your body there. What's that going to do is sugar has a big effect on bogging down our metabolism through the inflammatory pathways. And also, when we have way too high of blood sugar, it's going to affect all our organs and how they function. So that's going to affect our energy production there too. So the higher our blood sugar is, you can think of it that our energy is going to be a lot lower. So when we take lion's mane, it's actually going to decrease our absorption of these carbohydrates that are going to spike our blood sugar, so we don't have these big spikes, which then are going to bog down our whole metabolism, which is then going to make us tired and also make us gain a lot more weight. So that's one other cool thing that lion's mane does.
So we obviously can see that lion's mane just helps in so many different ways. You know, there's a lot of different stuff out there, grows all over the world and so forth. How do you typically recommend people take lion's mane, and where can we find it so that we can start taking advantage of it?
So yeah, you can find it. Usually the best way is through a powder. You could take it in a capsule or whatever, but my favorite way is actually it gets activated a little bit more through a like warm water or hot water, not way too hot. If you have it way too hot, it will kill some of the constituents, but decently hotness that you could actually drink type of heat, and that will help dry out the constituents and help it absorb much more readily all those goodies that help our bodies work so well, like we talked about through the hot water. And I actually created a drink of mine that has lion's mane in it. It's called Terra Brew, and it has a lot of these other mushrooms that we talked about. It has lion's mane, it has cordyceps, it has chaga, it has reishi mushroom, it has ashwagandha, and it has ginseng. All these things in there that are going to help our energy, our focus, and concentration, and do all these other things that we talked about for our general health and wellness. I created this because there were so many people that were pounding energy drinks to get energy, or drinking tons of coffee. Okay, they're getting the energy from the caffeine, but it's actually depleted energy. And we're talking about that more in later episodes. But I saw my patients that's getting sicker and sicker with all these energy drinks and drinking way too much coffee. So I wanted to create a drink that was actually healthy, that was actually going to give them the energy, focus, and concentration, and actually just be a good, healthy drink that they could drink every morning. So Terra Brew is a great option that I created.
And Terra Brew, for everyone, is actually spelled Terra, Terra, Brew, BRU. And we're going to make sure and put the link in the description box below so that you can check it out. What I like about Terra Brew as well, I've tried it. I have adrenal fatigue and all sorts of issues that Dr. Jake has been helping me walk through. And is that, like, if you're having to drink a mushroom, because it's better to do it that way than, you know, taking it in any other form, and then being able to have it with all these other types of mushrooms and other adaptogens and so forth that really just make it this complete, amazing supplement, is that you don't want it to taste bad. And this actually tastes really good. And what I find is I like, because energy can last all day, but it's really been, it kind of satisfies, I think, that same taste bud that I have that desires coffee, just like that warm, slightly bitter type of drink. But obviously, you know, ways to sweeten it as well. It has a slight, just, I would even say almost like a mild chocolate type of flavor, very, very, very mild. And it's delicious. So we'll make sure and put a link down in the comments below. And if you have actually tried it already, or you watched this and then tried it, Love to get your feedback on it. Let us know in the comments below how it helped you, right? This is really exciting to be able to start taking advantage of the knowledge of the ages, right? And be able to use it today.
If you want to learn more about how you can increase your energy and focus and concentration, click our videos to the right. I'm Dr. Jake, and I'll see you there.